Hey, good morning, folks. This is MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. And good morning, good Monday morning to you. I wanted to keep this on the positive side. I want you to know that this is a wind. It's not a historic wind by our standards. Probably close to the November storm, but maybe a couple of miles an hour slower than that. It's a 45 to 50 mile an hour gust pattern moving across lower Michigan today. We will get through it. And before we get to the weather, I got all kinds of tabs lined up for you. Before we get to it, I want to just say hi to folks. Mark Ambrosi, good morning. Pete from TC, good morning. Good morning, Berta Jimenez. Thank you for watching. And Sheila Smith, good morning. And Joseph Kerr, and Kyle McCarty. All right, let's get into it. The things I want to mention to you is it's a gusty day, but it's not a historic type wind. Now, having said that, if you live on the Lake Michigan shoreline, the lakes are higher, obviously, and the wind is of a direction that makes a lot of waves. So devastation is possible along the Lake Michigan shoreline, inland by a mile or two and pick up after that. It's generally just a very gusty situation where you don't want to be into a project that will catch that westerly wind. Excuse me. And then much colder air definitely is on the way. So it could be like this. If you're in lower Michigan, you say, oh boy, this weather is terrible. It could be like this, or maybe you like it if you live in the UP. This is Travis East. He says he's 6'3". He posts this on Facebook on the National Weather Service page in Marquette. And he says this drift is crazy. And here's a ruler from Gwinn, 16 inches of snow this morning. So indeed, there is a snowstorm raging across the UP. And here are the advisories and warnings in effect for Michigan right now. So the TAN, lower Michigan, and far eastern parts of the UP. Hey, good morning, Monica Hadley. Easter was quiet, real quiet. It was odd. Okay. Hope you're doing well. So TAN areas, wind advisory for wind gusts 45 miles an hour up to 50 miles an hour. I'll show that to you in a second. Winter weather advisory, eastern UP in the purple. Winter storm warning, western UP for a couple more inches of snow. And then along all the shorelines, the lakeshore flood warnings are, of course, in effect. Here's a radar. Now, we're talking about wind out of this system. We're talking about snow in the UP. Lower Michigan, it's not that much of a rainmaker. We're going to have a couple of batches of showers move through this morning, and then it should be pretty much over with, and we'll go to a dry wind as the wind picks up. So not, I'm going to say a quarter inch, maybe a half inch if a thunder shower gets going. But right now, it's looking like we're going to be on the low end of precipitation. I've been talking to my farmer buddies. They are ready to plant. Well, they planted I'm guessing about half the sugar beets in eastern Michigan are planted already. They're hoping to finish up the sugar beets this week. That should be doable if this thing scoots through without a whole lot of precipitation like it looks like it will. All right, now let's get to the winds. Okay, like I said, not historic winds. We've had these kind of winds, so I don't want to give anybody any type of panic. Just make sure the garbage cans are inside. And like I said, if you have a project going, building a shed, and you've got it so it's a wind kite right now, hopefully you've been listening the last couple of days, but otherwise, we're just going to get about a 6-hour wind. Here are the peak wind gusts expected. Let's see, about 47 miles an hour in Grand Rapids, and in Ionia, Lansing, 47 miles an hour. This would come, it looks like, in the mid to late afternoon. I would call it a 3 to 7 hour time period, 3 to 7 p.m. time period. Okay, eastern Michigan, the strongest winds look like they'll be in the eastern part of the thumb, where wind gusts could hit 50, 51 miles an hour. There you see the official forecast, 51 miles an hour in Bad Axe. Detroit, 48 mile an hour gusts. That would be 4 to 8 this evening. Lansing, 47 miles an hour. Saginaw, probably 47 miles an hour. The whole Tri-Cities region about the same. Now going northward, the data is showing a little bit lighter wind gusts today for some reason. I'm not so sure that I agree with that. What you're looking at, by the way, is a human-made forecast. Yes, I love it. Humans, we still have a job in meteorology for now. Computers, I will be honest, have been gradually downsizing the amount of people needed to cover any given weather office or weather situation. But this is a human forecast. So basically what you're seeing is the Weather Service office out of Gaylord thinks that the winds will be a little bit lighter than what they did yesterday. Instead of 45 to 50 mile an hour gusts, more like 40 to 45. Again, another one of my reasons why I say this is not a historic storm, and we will get through it. Here's your radar forecast. Okay. And I'll show you what's going on. Again, the emphasis here is that it's not really a huge precipitation maker. This is 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. So this model isn't picking up on the fairly decent batch of showers coming through the middle of the state right now. So that means that it's not showing as much as it should be. But even so, as we get to noon, things die off as far as precipitation. Then what do we see? A lake effect snow band. Yes, cutting across maybe Antrim County and into the Grayling and Gaylord area. So snow showers will kick in, and that's why I tell you that it is going to be a much colder pattern. Greg McGuire, are we done with snow yet? Fire the hedgehog? Depends on, where you're at. In the UP, East, Northern, Lower, no, you're not done with snow yet. Ralph Kennedy checking in from Interlochen says light rain and snow mix already. Ralph, you've got possibly an inch in places to come out of this. And here it is. Here is the total snowfall forecast, the same model that I like, that high resolution rapid refresh. And you can kind of see that as that lake effect band develops, Antrim County, Kalkaska County, Otsego County, but southern half of the state, no. We might see some flakes here or there late afternoon or this evening, but nothing significant. And the UP, after 16 inches of snow, you have probably about 3 to 6 more to come. So yeah, there could be a spot that approaches 2 feet around the Marquette area by the time it's all said and done. All right, let's ace this whole storm talk and let's get into what is going to happen in the future, right? And this is where I sit down and just talk to you. I think that there is a cold blob coming down, and it's fairly strong, fairly long lasting. Now we got to superimpose that upon what has been all winter, the ability for the warmth from the southeast to sneak back up and push that cold air out faster than we've expected. We've talked about 3 or 4 cold outbreaks trying to form in the winter, and we'd forecast them. They would come down last 2 days and go back up. Now this one I do think lasts a week or so, but it's probably the last cold blast. So here's our storm today, and it moves on to the east. And the real story is that we're going to have fairly quiet, benign weather coming up here for the next week. There could be some snow showers on Wednesday. When we get into this cold pattern, you get the sneaky little batches of precipitation that maybe your phone app didn't necessarily forecast, but you know who told you about it, right? All right, so now we're into Friday and still fairly quiet, no major storm system. And we get into the weekend, and what just noticing is cold fronts keep coming in from the north about every 3 or 4 days. And that just kind of reinforces things, okay? And someone mentions terrible tornadoes in the southeast. Yes, terrible tornadoes in the southeast, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, North Carolina, some ongoing right now. That's on the warm sector of the storm system. Now we're into early next week, and again, you still haven't seen a major storm system. So if you can get out in the yard, you can probably do so without some mud, although you will be on the chilly side. Let's look at the high temperatures finally. This is my last tab for you. This is rough work, folks. Don't try this at home. Leave it to a professional, if we can find a professional around here. Okay, still this morning, not too cold in the southeast, but temperatures will be dropping, so that's a little deceiving. Grand Rapids, you're in the 40s today. Traverse City, you're lucky to get 40 today. And the UP in the snowstorm, you're in the 30s. Colder air settles in the next couple of days. We're in the low to mid 40s in the southeast. Grand Rapids, you're at 41. Saginaw, you're at 42. Traverse City, you're high of about 35. So yeah, throwback to about early March in Traverse City area. UP cold. Then we're into Wednesday. Still pretty chilly. 30s north, 40s south. Thursday, 40s, 30s north, but modifying a little bit. Couple of degrees better on Friday, still cooler than normal. Saturday, not bad. Temperatures in the 50s. Yes, Greg McGuire, he sees these sweat beads rolling off of my face, analyzing all these weather maps. Rough work. Saturday, and then Sunday, temperatures in the upper 50s, but there could be some more cool down, another cool down after that. So, wind today. All right. Wind today, not historic. We'll get through it. 45 to 50 mile an hour gusts. There probably will be some power outages. I wouldn't expect power outages to be massive or anything. There will be some scattered power outages. Be prepared for that. Hey, thank you, Ann Monroe. Loving my live forecast. Appreciate it very much. Let's see. And then colder temperatures. We're kind of going back to, let's call it a April 1st type weather pattern. We're going back about 2 weeks, and that's going to be around for 7 to maybe 10 days, probably breaking about April 20th to April 24th or something like that. And that's about it. We'll keep you updated. Remember to keep checking with MLive. My fellow journalists on MLive, I feel, are doing a great job of keeping you updated on the COVID-19 pandemic here across the U.S. So if you have not gone to MLive's page for the coronavirus info, you'll definitely want to do it. And you can also sign up for a text blast that summarizes what's going on with the coronavirus and then leads you to a link to the most updated aggregate story, we call it, where it gives you all the info, the latest info that you need to know. Hey, before I go, I just got to say hi to some people. We got 700 people on here. Greg McGuire. I have a tough time with your name. Thank you. Getting the greenhouse ready, says Mandy. All right. That is a good idea. And, you know, someone has mentioned that this cool down, maybe it's good or bad for the virus. We don't know if there's a seasonal warming effect that will help it. Probably is. A lot of experts are saying. But at least we are, you know, slowed down on the yard. And if you have your lawn mowed, things are starting to grow. And if it was going to be May 1st, things are going to be kind of out of control on that. So maybe it's good news. Stan Hutwell says IRS check is in his account. All right. Thanks for the info. Is it okay to put fertilizer down in Marysville, Tim Welch? Yes, it is. Fertilizer will sit there until the grass needs it. I think you're fine. It'll probably kind of not be activated this week, and then once it warms up, it'll be ready to go. You could wait a week too if you wanted to. If there's a crabgrass pre-emergent in it, you kind of want to wait as long as possible, so that extends into the time of the year when it's needed, June and July. There we go. That's it. Thanks for joining me on this Monday morning. I think it's going to be a better week for us all. I hope it will be. Be safe. Have fun with your family. And I will see you back here on MLive's Facebook page again tomorrow. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa.